What's up YouTube, welcome back to the channel. How y'all doing? As you can see from the title, man, this reaction video is gonna be very interesting, man. Let me see who we got today, man. You feel me? I got the Australians Deadly Gang, GW versus 21 District, man. A lot of y'all was requesting that, a lot of y'all was asking for it. This shit's gonna explain everything, you feel me? Like all the wars that's going on between ONEFOUR and you know, just the gang violence that's going on in Australia, you feel me? It's gonna explain every single detail. I don't know if this is 24 minutes long, so I don't know if I want to, should I react to everything, but I feel like I'm gonna stop it where I feel like I have enough knowledge to know like what's going on in a week, because 24 minutes, that's a lot of minutes. But we're gonna react to it, man. We're gonna check out the most of it, you feel me? It was requested, so gotta check it out, gotta show love. So if you need to subscribe, turn your notification, man. It's your boy Jules Reacts, man. Follow me on my IG if you haven't already, Jules Official 2Ls. The link is down in the description, so go make sure and go check that out, you feel what I'm saying? Let me call my screen in 3, 2, 1. And let's get straight to it. I'm finna do no pausing. Let's get straight to it.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another two
man has been murdered in Sydney's
a week after the deadly stabbing of a 17-year-old.
Now, Sydney is one of the most well-known cities in the world, and is in fact the capital of New South Wales. And whilst a lot of people confuse Sydney as the capital of Australia, this is actually false, as the capital of Australia is Canberra. As of 2022, Sydney was home to around 5.2 million people currently living in and around the city. Sydney is best known for its popular tourist destinations, an example being the Sydney Opera House. This alone attracts tourists from all over the world. However, what a lot of these tourists are unaware of is the ongoing and deadly gang war that has been playing out within the streets of Sydney, resulting in multiple people being shot, stabbed, and killed, with a spotlight then being shone on the young rappers on both sides of the rivalry. This subsequently resulted in the Australian drill scene exploding and turning these young Aussie drillers into superstars overnight. This being the bloody and deadly gang war between an alliance of street gangs based around the inner west of Sydney and greater western Sydney. Prominent gangs from inner west being Proper 60, G40, and MOB, although I'll speak about other inner west gangs later on within this video. These inner west gangs then rivaling the street gangs from greater western Sydney, which is home to multiple prominent gangs, including ONEFOUR, LF7.
Ever wondered how successful online entrepreneurs make it big? With Wally Nekju
and RFA 17. The rivalry between both gangs from the inner west and greater western Sydney has been playing out within the streets for around a decade, which is crazy as it was only in the last few years that rappers on both sides began making noise in the Australian drill scene. Although this wouldn't mean anything, as the rappers on each side are in a deadly feud with one another, resulting in broad daylight shootings, stabbings, and murders occurring, leading me to believe that this may be the craziest video I have made to date. But without further ado,
So that ONEFOUR is not sweet. Hey, they're dangerous people, so hey, listen though. I'm scared of ONEFOUR. Hey, again, I'm a civilian. You feel me? I don't really do the gang shit. But listen, what I'm hearing, I'm scared of ONEFOUR.
let's get into one of, if not the craziest gang rivalries I've spoke about on this channel.
ONEFOUR, 27 District, G40, now 21 District.
A teenager has died outside Blacktown Police Station.
So to begin with, the first alliance of gangs is based around Greater Western Sydney, this being a large region that makes up the larger Sydney. The Greater Western area of Sydney is home to an alliance of gangs, more specifically based around the postcode that begins with 27, mainly around the Mount Druitt area. The gangs I'll be talking about include NF14, based around Mount Druitt. This gang is more popularly known as ONEFOUR, the NF14 gang being based around the 2770 postcode, LF70 also based around the 2770 postcode, RFA 17.
Damn, whoever's doing this documentary, he knows his shit.
Postcode, and and finally Section 60 from nearby St. Mary's. For simplicity's sake, I, like many others, will refer to these collections of crews as 27 District, or just 27, as the postcode begins with 27, although the alliance of gangs also goes by other names. Other gangs are known to be affiliated with the gangs from 27 District, although if they aren't relevant to the story, I won't really speak on them. A few streets away from the Greater West allied gangs lies a rival gang known as 6-7, this being based around the suburb of Doonside, which is in fact based in the 27 postcode. It's important to note, however, that this 6-7 gang is not affiliated with the 27 District gangs, but instead the 6-7 gang is affiliated with their rivals from Inner West, or the 21 District. The gangs that directly rival the gangs from the 27 District is that of 21 District, which, as you could probably tell, is a group of gangs based around the 21 postcode, this then being in the Inner West of Sydney. The gangs based around the 21 District include RFL from Blacktown 2148, G40 from Guildford 2161, Proper 60 or ML60 from Maryland's 2160. This Proper 60 gang being the gang that popular rapper A. Huncho hails from. These group of gangs are closely allied with one another and have a rivalry with the gangs from Mount Druitt from the 27 postcode. This collection of gangs from the 21 postcode is often referred to more simply as 21 District, or IWB, which is an acronym for Inner West Brothers, or Inner West Brotherhood, due to how many gangs are involved, and in order to not confuse you, I'll refer to both sides of the rivalry as 27 District and 21 District. Now, you may be confused as to how gangs from two completely different postcodes within Sydney have come to have such a deadly rivalry with one another, resulting in brazen and violent attacks occurring in the streets of Sydney. Whilst it's not known how the rivalry between these groups of gangs began, what is known is as far back as 2015 teenage gang members from Doonside and Mount Druitt were getting into fistfights with one another over postcode territory. This then slowly evolving into stabbings and shootings. One of the first incidents recorded between the gangs was in 2015 when a fight video was uploaded onto YouTube titled Doonside vs. Mount Druitt. This video showing a group of NF14 members fighting HS members from Doonside in a Sydney street, and whilst no one was seriously injured, it would appear that these fights slowly escalated into a full-on postcode war. It's rumored that the gang from Doonside, Mount Druitt, and Blacktown was known as RFL, before the olders made younger members pick sides, with new gangs being created, examples being 6-7, RFA, and GRC, with it being believed that the gangs on the 27 postcode all linked up and rivaled the gangs from the postcode that started with 21. Now, it's important to note that Doonside is based around the 27 postcode, although the gang that is based in Doonside is known as 6-7, and actually has a rivalry with other 27 district gangs. This 6-7 gang then siding with the 21 district gangs. Another incident occurred only months later in October 2015, when a 23-year-old man was beaten to death outside of a shop in Mount Druitt, and was later found by passers-by a few hours after the attack. It's rumored that the man killed had alleged ties to the NF14 crew, which has more popularly become known as ONEFOUR, with some even stating that the killer fled shortly after the brutal attack and made his way back to Blacktown, home to the 2148 Street Gang, RFL, or MOB. Rest in peace. During this time, the rivalry was more commonly known as Inner West versus Greater West, as like I discussed before, both groups of gangs were based in different sides of Sydney. The 27 postcode gangs in Greater West and the 21 postcode gangs in Inner West. In the first few months of 2016, the NF14 gang began to make noise in the underground Australian drill scene, releasing a direct diss track to the Inner West gangs, this being titled Inner West Diss. Within this song, the members referenced multiple incidents that saw rival members being stabbed or shot, as well as referencing multiple brawls that had occurred between the groups of gang members in the months prior. In both 2017 and 2018, the ONEFOUR collective began to make a huge noise in the Aussie drill scene, even beginning to make their own wave, which was not ever seen before, releasing huge tracks like Don't Want It in 2017 and What You Know in 2018. And whilst it looked as if ONEFOUR could explode in the Australian drill scene, in July 2018, a massive brawl that included ONEFOUR's key members occurred. This then subsequently resulting in ONEFOUR's most prominent and well-known members facing prison time for their involvement in this gang war. In July 2018, ONEFOUR members Lex14, YP, and Selly were in a pub when a brawl broke out between a group of men and the ONEFOUR members. Lex beat up a man until he was unconscious, before then taunting the unconscious man. Another ONEFOUR member known as YP used a chair leg and smashed it into a rival's head, whilst Selly repeatedly hit another man with a hammer. Now, this entire attack was caught on CCTV, thus leading to the arrests of all of the members involved. And in the end, Lex was given 4.5 years, whilst YP was given 4 years for his role in the attack, and finally Selly was given a 10-year sentence. These 3 arrests took ONEFOUR's most prominent members off the streets, resulting in other rappers beginning to carry the ONEFOUR name. It's believed that around this time, a group of Inner West members from 21 were on their way home from watching a rugby match when they were noticed by rival Greater West.
This is the thing. One thing about the streets, if you're not ready to do 100 years behind your name, bro, get out the streets, bro. You feel me? The streets ain't for you. If you're not ready to do 100 years, like behind your name, then get out the streets. You feel me? Because a lot of shit comes with this shit.
27 members. It's rumored that following this, a young member from the Greater West or 27 gang retrieved a claw hammer and beat the rival Inner West member on a train. Images surfaced following the attack showing a man with a severely bloody head. However, that is way too shocking to show on YouTube. Luckily, however, no one was seriously injured. Sadly, however, only a few months following this incident in October 2018, a member associated with 21 District would be killed by rival 27 members, resulting in get-back shootings and stabbings occurring, this being the death of Tino. On the 6th of October 2018, 20-year-old Tino Henry, who had alleged ties to the 21 District gang, would be standing with friends in an underpass near Fitzwilliam Street, which was close to Westfield, Parramatta. Tino and his friends were noticed by rival gang members from the Greater West crew, alleged to have been the LF70 gang, with a massive brawl then ensuing. Sadly, during this fight, Tino was stabbed multiple times with the wounds he sustained, proving to be fatal. As upon emergency services arrival on the scene, he was treated before he was rushed to Westmead Hospital, in which he sadly died a few hours later. Only a few minutes following the stabbing, 3 young men were arrested on nearby Hassall Street. The 3 men arrested were a 17-year-old who was charged with the murder and was refused bail, a 20-year-old, and a 16-year-old who was later released from police custody, with it being rumored that in the end, the LF70 member was given 3 years for the murder of Tino, as he was under the age of 18. Rest in peace, Tino Henry. Following Tino's death, the ONEFOUR gang was completely exploding in the Australian drill scene, with the collective dropping the track titled What You Know around 20 days following Tino's death. This track currently sitting on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. This track currently sitting on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. At the beginning of 2019, ONEFOUR released the popular track titled Shanks and Shivs, which also gained a lot of attention, sitting on around 4 million views. It would actually be their next drop that would blow them into the mainstream, this being The Message, which was released in March 2019 and featured multiple disses towards Tino and the 21 District gangs. An example was when JM rapped, "Now, I'm proud to say to this day forward that the 7 put an op on a shirt." This line referencing the murder of Tino and how 27 District members were responsible. Later in the track, YP rapped the line, "21 what? But 1 got knocked. Ha, I guess that makes them 20. This also being a diss toward Tino. The death of Tino was thought to have resulted in retaliation attacks, one of these being in 2019, when a member associated with the 27 gang recorded himself chasing the Inner West rapper J Lex in Guildford. Luckily, J Lex made it out alive, but hours later he would arm himself and would travel to Mount Druitt with his brother in order to get back. The Inner West members, including J Lex, traveled to Mount Druitt in multiple cars. The members noticed a few 27 District members, and what followed this was a massive brawl in a car park. J Lex and his brother were both stabbed multiple times in a deadly and vicious attack, with both being rushed to hospital. However, both J Lex and his brother went on to survive the attack. This violent incident was later mentioned in YP from ONEFOUR's track titled Ben 10, in which he mentioned the incident, rapping,
Run up, get chef, locked at least he tried his best. 1-4.
Now, remember I said that ONEFOUR had released a track titled The Message. Well, in July 2019, 21 District released a direct response to this track titled The Reply. This song gained a massive amount of attention, as both gangs were now warring it out in the public eye. The Reply currently sits on an impressive 3.2 million views. A few days following the release of The Reply, Spenny from ONEFOUR got into an argument online with a 21 District member who had made fun of Spenny's dead mum. Spenny then traveled onto Guildford, which was 21 District's block, and made a series of snaps laps on the block dissing his rivals. He then left after 25 minutes of lurking on his rival block. During this time, ONEFOUR had released their track titled Spot the Difference, which was an instant hit and blew up almost instantly, currently sitting on around 20 million views, which is crazy as no one had really gained this success in the Australian drill scene. However, what a lot of fans didn't know about was the ongoing gang feud that was only going to get more deadly as the years go on.
Damn, they're getting a lot of attention though.
Summer months of 2020. On the 28th of August 2020, at around 9:45 p.m., a member of the LF70 gang from 27, known under the street name Junes, was walking with a friend on Church Street when he was noticed by rivals from the alleged KTV gang. A verbal altercation then ensued. However, the argument slowly escalated, with Junes then attempting to run away. However, he was chased down by the attackers and was stabbed multiple times all over his body. Following the attack, the assailants then fled the scene, with emergency services arriving on scene shortly after. Junes was rushed to hospital and luckily went on to survive the attack. Now, not much is known about what happened following this, but what is known is that around this time in 2020, Section 60 members from 27 District were kidnapped by Inner West Youngers and forced to deny involvement. They were also told to say Inner West on top. This entire incident was recorded and uploaded onto social media, where it has since gained thousands of views. At the end of 2020, ONEFOUR linked up with the UK rappers Heady One, AJ Tracy, and Stormzy. This song was titled Ain't It Different Remix, and as you can guess, this was a remix to Heady One's popular track Ain't It Different with AJ Tracy and Stormzy. The remix was taken well and currently sits on around 2.8 million views. This then shining a bigger spotlight on the Australian drill movement, with commenters beginning to turn their heads towards ONEFOUR and the Aussie drill scene. In March 2021, Demons, who was associated with the 21 District gang, released a track titled Cyber Violence. Now, this track gained quite a bit of attention, and it really looked as if Demons could blow in the scene. However, just under a month following this release, he got himself caught up in a case that saw him stabbing a rival 7 times in broad daylight on CCTV. In April 2021, Demons, who was associated with 21 District, noticed a rival LF70 member who was sitting on the ledge of a counter. Both Demons and his friend then approached the rival LF70 member, asking him where he is from. And in a shocking turn of events that was caught on CCTV, Demons and his friend began attacking the LF70 member, stabbing him up to 7 times in his neck, back, and chest with a box cutter. The LF70 member was rushed to hospital and luckily went on to make a recovery following the attack, with Demons then being apprehended by police hours later. Demons ended up only serving a year in a juvenile detention for this stabbing. He was later released in 2022 and went on to directly talk about the incident in an interview in which he was asked about it, and he said,
Can you tell me about the stabbing that you were involved in? What happened there?
Just personal beef, just
Bro, why they snitching on themselves though?
One thing went to another. It was over me or him, he's in the wrong area.
Why is he going on the internet and be like, yo, it's personal beef? Why are you doing interviews saying, yo, I stabbed him up because it was personal beef? Why are you doing that?
It was actually only a few months following this almost fatal stabbing that a younger that was allegedly associated with the Greater West Gang Section 60 and ONEFOUR would be stabbed to death following a brawl, thus leading to 2022 becoming an extremely dangerous year between these large street gangs in Sydney.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another 2 teenagers are fighting for life after a late-night brawl in Sydney's west.
On the 1st of September 2021, 18-year-old Orbski, who was rumored to have been an associated of the QSB set, which was based around St. Mary's, and was allied with other 27 gangs. Anyways, on the 1st of September 2021, Orbski and a few friends were walking in Blacktown. They were noticed by alleged rivals from the MOB gang, which was a crew based around Blacktown. A massive brawl then broke out in the streets, with members on both sides retrieving knives. Sadly, however, Orbski was stabbed multiple times in this brawl, with 2 other 15-year-olds also sustaining knife wounds as a result of the deadly brawl. Orbski was rushed to a hospital, but sadly was pronounced dead a few hours later. Both 15-year-olds went on to luckily survive the attack, with police then launching a murder investigation hours after the attack. Several people were arrested after the murder. This included 4 17-year-olds and even a 14-year-old. However, I couldn't find who was found guilty and charged. Rest in peace, Orbski. Dozens of tributes poured in following Orbski's death, with people from all over the internet showing their love to him. A few witnesses to the crime would later come out stating,
about 6 or 7 guys running after a couple of people. They were screaming pretty bad.
It was also stated that the death of Orbski may have been a retaliatory attack for a 16-year-old who was beaten to death in Doonside only a few weeks earlier, around a few streets away from where the deadly brawl occurred that claimed Orbski's life.
I'm gonna stop it right there. Okay? My camera about to die anyways, and it's like, I think I've heard enough information to know what's really going on over there, bro. In Australia, tell you shit. Like, bro, one thing I'm gonna say is stay out the streets, man. The street is not, bro, it's not where you wanna be. You feel what I'm saying? Like, too many people dying in the streets, man. Like, people's little kids, bro. People's little boys, you feel me? Like, I mean, that's somebody's kid right there that you're stabbing up. You feel me? That's somebody's kid. You feel me? Like, the streets is not cool at all. You feel me? So get out the streets. You feel me? If you're in it, get out the streets, man. Stay away from it. Type shit. Focus on making your mama proud. You feel me? Moving her out the hood. You feel me? Get your money up and get out the hood, bro. It's about Jules Reacts. You feel me? Shout out to ONEFOUR though. They're going crazy, man. I'm hearing their songs and shit. They're going crazy. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We gone.